exactly as you gave it, without any changes. In the crimson dunes of Zorath Prime, where the twin suns scorched the sky into a perpetual blaze and sandstorms whispered ancient curses, Captain Jax Harlan was just another ghost in the machine of the galaxy. A freelance bounty hunter with a cybernetic arm etched in scars from 100 forgotten wars, Jax had long ago traded his soul for survival. At 35, he piloted the Shadow's Bite, a sleek corvette scarred by plasma burns and loaded with regrets. His last job had gone south on Vega Outpost, betrayed by a client left for dead amid the ruins of a collapsed Habdome. But Jax didn't die easy. He lived for the hunt, the payout, the numb haze of neural stims that dulled the ache of a life without anchors. It was during a high-risk salvage op in the Forbidden Expanse, a lawless nebula riddled with derelict wrecks and pirate ambushes, that Jax's scanners lit up like a supernova. An Imperial Zorathian vessel, the Eternal Bloom, adrift and venting atmosphere. The Zorathians were an enigmatic race, tall, iridescent beings with skin that shifted like oil on water, eyes like fractured sapphires, and a culture bound by prophecies of blood and rebirth. Rumors said their tech could rewrite reality, but touching it invited madness. Jax, smelling credits, boarded anyway. The ship was a slaughterhouse, bodies twisted in agony, veins blackened by some virulent toxin. In the nursery vault, amid flickering cryotubes, he found her, a Zorathian larva, no bigger than a human toddler, her form a swirl of azure mist and delicate limbs ending in luminous frills. She wasn't crying. She was singing, a harmonic wail that bypassed his helmet filters and clawed at his mind. Visions flooded him, endless dunes choked by a creeping void, a ritual of thorns and venom, a savior's fall. The child latched onto his gloved hand, her touch igniting a neural fire that bonded them in an instant. He called her Elowen, after a half-remembered earth flower from Holovid Tales. Smuggling an alien kid wasn't smart, but Jax's hardened shell cracked under those sapphire eyes. He patched her into the Shadow's Bite's medbay, jury-rigging a habitat from salvage parts. Elowen grew fast. Zorathian physiology accelerated by the ship's fusion core, babbling in echoes that his translator pieced into broken English. "Starfather," she cooed, "the thorns call. The void hungers." Jax brushed it off as kid stuff, but the dreams came relentless. Poisoned arrows, a queen's crown, a throne room of kneeling shadows. The galaxy didn't take kindly to interlopers. The Void Reavers, a cartel of gene-spliced raiders who hunted Zorathian essences for black market elixirs, caught wind of the stolen air. Jax evaded them through wormhole jumps and asteroid dogfights, but they closed in like a noose. On the fringes of Zorath Prime, in a canyon scarred by ancient meteor strikes, they cornered him. Blaster fire lit the dusk as Jax fought back-to-back with his pulse rifle. Elowen huddled in a force field bubble. "Run when I say," he barked, but she refused, her frills flaring to unleash a psychic pulse that stunned a squad of Reavers. In the chaos, Jax spotted the prophecy's heart. The Thorn Spire, a monolithic obelisk pulsing with forbidden energy, guarded by automated sentinels. Elowen's visions weren't dreams, they were a map. The Zorathian salvation lay in the arrows of Eclipse, 3 obsidian shafts forged in the planet's core, tipped with venom distilled from the void itself. Only a lost wanderer from the stars could wield them, firing them into the void nexus to seal the blight devouring their world. But the price? The arrow's poison would consume the wielder's life force, granting stasis, a frozen limbo, until the balance was restored. The Reavers breached the ship. Jax scooped Elowen and bolted for the spire, dodging seeker drones and vibroblades. Inside, the air hummed with ancestral chants, walls etched with glowing runes. At the altar, the arrows awaited, sleek, humming with malevolent hunger. Elowen pressed one into his palm, her tiny voice steady. For me, Starfather. For home. Jax's laugh was bitter, smoke from a grazed shoulder. Kid, I've got nothing left to lose. But as he knocked the first arrow, memories surged. Parents lost to corporate purges, lovers scattered by war, a brother vaporized in a hull breach. The void had taken everything. This was just one more debt. The Nexus chamber was a maw of writhing darkness, tendrils lashing like living whips. Jax loosed the first arrow. It struck true, the barb sinking into the core with a psychic scream. Agony ripped through him, his cyber arm shorted, veins burning as the poison transmuted his grief into raw power. Light cracked the shadows, but he staggered, vision tunneling. The second arrow drew deeper. Reavers poured in. Their leader, a hulking brute with void tentacles grafted to his spine, snarling, "The essence is mine." Jax fired amid the melee, the shaft piercing the Nexus further. Elowen screamed as a blade nicked her, her blood sizzling on the stone. Rage fueled him. The arrow bloomed starfire, scattering foes in holy terror. The third. Gods, the third. Shadows swarmed his mind, replaying every failure, every empty cryosleep. "You're alone," they hissed. "Always were." Elowen's cry pierced the din. "Starfather, please!" With a bellow that shook the spire, Jax released. The Nexus imploded in a cascade of purifying radiance, the blight recoiling into oblivion. The Reavers fled, or burned, their empire crumbling in the backlash. But victory's cost was eternal. The poison locked Jax in stasis, his body crystallizing in a sarcophagus of frozen ether, preserved by the arrow's magic. Elowen, tears carving channels in her cheeks, sealed him in the spire's heart. "Sleep, Starfather, I will wait." 50 years blurred into myth. Zorath Prime healed under Elowen's unwitting guidance. The child grew into a queen, Queen Elowen the Radiant, her frills now a crown of living light, her decrees weaving the prophecies into law. She united fractured clans, repelled invasions, and forged an empire from the sands. Whispers called her the Arrow's daughter, but she never forgot the human who bled for her, a ghost in stasis, the true weaver of their dawn. On the 50th solstice, as twin suns aligned in rare eclipse, the spire trembled. Runes ignited, and the sarcophagus cracked like thunder. Queen Elowen, resplendent in robes of woven star silk, led her court into the chamber. Gasps echoed as Jax Harlan stirred, his body unaged, cyber arm whirring back to life. He gasped, lungs burning with recycled air, eyes focusing on a sea of sapphire faces. And there, at the foot of the dais, knelt Elowen, no longer a child, but a sovereign whose presence commanded galaxies. Her eyes, still fractured sapphires, brimmed with tears. The court followed, warriors and elders bowing low, chants rising like a tide. "Starfather," she whispered, voice a symphony that bridged decades. "You returned, as promised." Jax, hoarse and disoriented, extended a trembling hand. "Kid, what the hell happened?" She rose, clasping his arm, her touch reigniting that ancient bond. "You saved us, and we saved you. Welcome home, my king." In the years that followed, Jax, now the relic sovereign, stood beside her, a bridge between human grit and Zorathian grace. He taught her the star's harsh truths. She showed him redemption's light. The poisoned arrows, enshrined in the spire, became symbols of sacrifice's echo. What we give in darkness often awakens us to unforeseen thrones. And in the quiet dunes, under twin suns, Jax finally found his anchor. Not in loss, but in the queen who knelt for him.